y'all. This is Emma Sarah. I know that tiny living is all the rage right now, and I have been officially tiny living for the last 4 years. I have a family of 10, and we have an RV that's about 235 square feet. We went from living in just under 3,000 square feet of living space to living in a 235 square foot home, which is an RV, which actually used to be our recreational vehicle. And so now it is our home for the last almost 4 years. In June, it will be 4 years that we've actually been living this tiny lifestyle. And I think if I could give 4 lessons that I've learned in this last 4 years, it's number one, the first most important lesson is to really be grateful for what you have in every circumstance. I know there's a lot of things that we used to take for granted before, like space, number one. When we first moved in here, I mean, we knocked each other so many times that we don't even say sorry anymore because bumping is part of the program. And so the first thing I would say is, being grateful for, learning to be grateful for what you have, because when it's gone, and the space is gone. And I didn't know how much we would miss it, but we do, to be honest with you. And number two is you have to learn how to be very organized, because basically everything has to have a dual purpose here. I can't just put something when you have a family of 10, you have a lot of things, and we are living as minimalist of a lifestyle as possible. We're trying to have that minimal mindset, but when you have multiple family home businesses and 8 kids, there are a lot of things, or if they have hobbies or whatever, we still have to live life. And so everything has to have a dual purpose. And for the longest time, our kitchen countertop was also a bed in the evening, a bunk bed. So things like that, you have to be really organized. And the third lesson I've learned with small, not tall, but small living is that I think a lot of people have it. I think what I want to say for number 3 is that don't over fantasize the simplicity. Just because you have a small place doesn't mean that it's going to be easier, because for us it's actually gotten harder and it's a lot more work living in a tiny space, because it takes a lot more effort to keep things. We have to, there's no big house to have the kids have a dirty room, or play and leave all their toys out, and then everybody goes to the clean space to go watch a movie. No, it's like everything is always here. If we make a meal, we have to clean it up immediately, because then there's no counter space whatsoever. And so that is the circumstances that we're in right now. So you learn really quick that you have to I don't know, for us it's more work. So number 3 is not over fantasize. That tiny living is simpler living. And the 4th lesson that I've learned is that basically, if you had issues with your marriage going into small living, it will, maybe you had none, it can unearth new ones, and B, if you had things that were covered up, they will probably come out, because it's such small living spaces that you're with your spouse or your family members so often in such close quarters. When we first started our journey, my husband was retired, so I was with him very close quarters all the time, every day, and way more than ever in our 17 years at that time, it's 20 now, years of marriage. And so we hardly ever used to argue until we got into tiny living, and it was like having to relearn to communicate with one another, and just be more sensitive to one another's needs, because we are just around each other all the time, and elbow bumping all the time. But relationships are really the 4th integral lesson that I've learned in this tiny living journey, is that it can either make you stronger or it can break you. And for us, it's really drawn our family closer together. The bond is tighter, and we have learned to just appreciate our closeness, and instead of loathe it, to appreciate it, because like I said, it's either going to make or break a relationship. And that'd probably be the 4th lesson I've learned with tiny living. So that is the 4 things that so far I'm going to be sharing with y'all. But I hope you like my channel. We are going from regular house living to small house living to large house living, and this is our journey, y'all. We're a family of 10. I hope you like our page. I am a certified natural health counselor as well, so I do other vlogs on here about health and wellness, and check out our journey building our dream home. I'm Emma Sarah. Don't forget to like this page, y'all.